So, where do you think that was? Was it a solar power plant for research? No, it was a power plant used to provide electricity to homes, right? Wrong. That was Cochin International Airport. And what you saw wasn't simply some solar plant used in the airport, no. What you saw was the only power source that Cochin International Airport uses. Yeah, a whole airport with dozens of high power machines, hundreds of computers, thousands of lights runs on solar power alone. It says a lot about how far we have come as humans, being able to grasp the power available to us through nature like wind and solar. But what sets solar apart is two things. One, it's not impossible for common people to also harness this energy. No Indian out there is having a few 100-meter tall windmills in their backyard. That's crazy. But there are plenty with solar panels on the roof. Solar energy is one of the most abundant natural energy resource available to India, with many people in the country having their own homes with open roofs and the country being in the hot zone. This is energy that we as common people can also harvest alongside big industrial solar plants. Also, the fact that now solar panels are much cheaper than they used to be, and since the government is pushing for solar energy, you also get subsidy for up to 70%, in some cases even completely free. But the cost of buying the panels and all the equipment along with it isn't the only thing that's necessary. You need to know how to set it, namely which direction it should face and what angle it is inclined on. But even beyond this, the sun's path changes throughout the year. The angle you want to set it at depends on what exactly you want and how regularly you're going to adjust it. Every 3 months? Great, you can harvest energy very efficiently. Every 6 months? Well, not as good as 3, but still pretty good. Never? That's understandable. Maybe the place you put the panels isn't easily accessible, or maybe you're scared to play around with it. Well, that brings the question, what do you want to do with the energy? Do you want to send it back to the grid? Then your panel should be the most efficient in the summer, since that's when you can draw the maximum power. Do you want to store it in a battery and use it? Well, then when do you use more energy? Do you use a bunch of heaters during the winter or a bunch of ACs during the summer? This is just the tip. After deciding this comes maintenance and the fact that you should keep them away from the shadows, and how far should you keep the other units, since they shouldn't be in the sun, but too far and there is loss of power. In an ideal case, these are questions of professional answers and everything that professional takes care of, but they are very few and many times they're very expensive. My solution to this is to provide an app that takes care of a part of it. There's no way an app replaces a professional, but it could certainly partly make up for the absence of one. My app first finds a location in terms of latitude and longitude, then using the information finds the optimal angle of inclination. Then using the compass, you can make sure you're facing north, and once you do that, you can place the phone on the panel and then measure that angle to set it to its optimal angle. Now, like I said, there's a lot after doing all of this. There's maintenance and a dozen other variables, and the best the app can do by itself is give you tips and guidelines. But what if the app connects it to other professionals? Not only will you need advice while setting it up, but if something goes wrong and there are things to fix, well, who else would you call other than someone who knows what they're doing? Now, the limited time and knowledge and the fact that I had 6 other courses to handle, I couldn't implement this, but there's a lot to be said about the future, along with things like optimizing code or smoother animations, or nicer looking UI and better features. And what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot more to do, and normal people around the country being able to use solar energy certainly isn't a joke. I believe it's the future.